It's been an eventful summer.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on Q-tips.
I'm tied up in a serial killer's basement. He said nightmares don't come true.
Bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens.
What a way to start off the new season. I can tell Tim Burton had a lot of fun coming up with that scene. The whole Black Tears thing, real spooky stuff. We're here to talk about whether or not season 2 was a good continuation of the Wednesday story, or if the plot just failed to deliver when it needed to. And to be totally honest, the answer is a little more complicated than I thought. When watching the first episode, I was giddy with the excitement of seeing one of my favourite ongoing shows get a new season. But then I was kinda pissed off to see Netflix do the whole part 1 and part 2 thing. I get that it creates more hype, and we only need to wait a month for the next few episodes. But why? I guess it does beat having to wait every week for an episode to drop. If they're going for a sort of anime approach where they do certain arcs in different season parts with a specific storyline in mind, then I guess it's alright. But just leaving it at a cliffhanger was kind of a kick in the balls, personally. But enough moaning about Netflix. Let's get into what I actually thought about the season part itself. Still feels weird to call it that. One of the big thrills of this smash hit murder mystery or high school comedy drama, whatever you want to call it, is trying to crack the mystery before Wednesday does. And this season part makes it kinda hard, as it linked two mysteries into one while having a split narrative. Don't get it twisted, I love how Pugsley gets more screen time and actually develops as a character, even if that means raising the dead. But I feel like instead of the story being complex at certain moments, it was kinda confusing. After we see the Invisible Girl, or Agnes, reveal herself, things start to clear up a little bit, cause then we know the things she did as a messed up fangirl, and which things were done by a completely other person. But up until that point, I think it's safe to assume that most of you guys, as well as me, would have just thought that it was one person who was to blame for everything.
You stupid.
They're not.
My main suspicion though was Dr. Rachel Fairburn. You can't introduce someone as a British character in an American TV show and have me think that they're not the bad guy.
Stop the cap. Right now. Stop the cap.
Also, there were a bunch of other little hints around the show, but she was just a red herring. And if you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. The plot twist did take me by surprise, and it didn't hit me as hard as season 1. But considering they had less time to work with, they still managed to deliver an unexpected and not totally unbelievable character as the Raven Killer, or Killer with Ravens. They just use ravens to kill people, okay? I'm still trying to come up with a name. Then we also got to address Clockheart Kid, who's now a zombie, who wants to eat people's brains, as zombies tend to do. And we also got Pugsley, who treats him like a pet for some reason. Probably because his powers of, electricity can keep the zombie in check. But this zombie guy causes a lot of chaos in the later episodes. There was some very dark comedy when the leader of the cadets got eaten by the zombie. It was kinda sad, but also really funny. Oh yeah, that entire section where they all ended up at Camp Jericho was a really nice addition. It reminded me of season 1, when they competed in that assault course thingy, and I guess it also reminds the audience that Wednesday is still just a kid who goes to school and experiences normal kid stuff, like going to camp, even if the camp is full of mystical monsters and creatures that you read about in fairy tales. Nevertheless, the whole Zephyr and battle with the cadets was really refreshing, as it allowed some time to breathe without any mention of the mystery while it took place. The cadets were a nice and interesting group of characters, because although the school Nevermore is full of outcasts, in that scenario, you could say the cadets were actually the outcasts, or normies as they like to call them. To be honest, the cadet leader sort of had it coming to him, underestimating the outcasts and calling them freaks. It was momentarily funny, but if you read deeper into it, then it's almost like the normies have hatred towards the outcasts, and they probably have had it for centuries. I think one of the main aspects that separate good shows from mid ones is how the show tackles systemic problems, things like discrimination and things of that nature. and Wednesday does it well because it does it subtly. Another thing it does really well is giving you the heebie-jeebies, because Festa in that last episode does really well to give off the loony vibe and still stay creepy, especially Kid Festa. That was unsettling. And of course that opening scene with the dolls, because I hate dolls. Not to mention the hair was apparently real human hair. Anyways, let's shift our short attention spans to the plot for a second, especially in that last episode. A lot of the running storylines, actually pretty much all of them, reach a climax or turning point in some way, and characters are heavily overshadowed to make room for this plot progression. Bianca's mother gets caught, Festa gets caught trying to break into the maintenance room, then eventually the zombie escapes and eats a lot of humans till he can literally talk. Yeah, a lot happens. And in my opinion, a bit too much happens. It's kinda rare to see writers write themselves into a corner. Whether or not this was intentional, I have no clue, but I kinda feel like the writers wrote themselves into a corner. It felt like there was a ticking time bomb, and all the current storylines needed answers by the end of episode 4 to allow different ones to take place in the next season part, or so that they could come to an end in the next season part. That's just my view though. Let me know what you think. And while you're down there, just subscribe, you might as well. All in all, it was a good season part, especially exploring the relationship between Morticia Addams and Wednesday. It felt like there was a much deeper connection and understanding the entire lore of the Addams family. The fact that Wednesday is compared to her aunt Ophelia, who had similar powers, and the Tiz situation as well, and how she's missing now, and has been for over 20 years. As well as addressing the fact that Gomez, my favourite character, has no powers, although his son and Uncle Festa have both unlocked their abilities, which is shocking. See what I did there? I think putting a limit on Wednesday was a good move, because there must be some extent to which her psychic powers start to hurt her. Like, if you keep exercising your muscles without rest, eventually it's gonna hurt you a lot. The writers didn't do too badly, but for me, the pacing was just off for this season part. With Tyler now back out in the wild, and Wednesday folded on the pavement with police cars surrounding her, it's hard to say where this show's gonna go, but for now, they haven't done too bad, I guess. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and say something down below. I'll probably reply.